Before we start, let me tell you this. Indie games in 2025 are on another level. Some of these titles genuinely surprised me. Some overwhelmed me with atmosphere, and a few made me stop and just appreciate how creative and bold indie developers can be. So stay with me until the end, because each of these games brings something completely unique, and I promise there are a couple here you absolutely don't want to miss. Let's begin with something truly special. Voyagers of Nera. The moment I saw the art direction, I knew this game wasn't trying to compete with big-budget titles. It was carving out its own space. The game feels like a calm fantasy adventure mixed with exploration and light survival, but what really gets me is how alive the world feels. It has that sit-back-and-breathe atmosphere while still giving you enough mystery to stay engaged. Every creature, every island, every strange piece of nature feels handcrafted, like someone really cared about what this world is supposed to feel like. And gameplay-wise, it's about traveling, discovering ecosystems, solving environmental puzzles. It's relaxing, but somehow deeply immersive. It's one of those games where you lose track of time because the world feels gentle but captivating. The visuals are almost painterly, and the soft animations make it incredibly pleasant to watch. If you love cozy adventures but also want something meaningful, this one hits perfectly. Then there's Lockdown Protocol, and this game is a completely different energy. It takes the idea of a tactical breach-and-clear shooter and brings it into an indie scale with surprisingly high execution. What makes it so interesting is that the entire facility you infiltrate feels alive. Guard patrols react logically, alarms trigger real consequences, and the environment works like a puzzle you must outsmart. It's a game where patience pays off, and if you rush in, the game slaps you back immediately. The physics feel punchy, weapons have weight, and the tension builds naturally. Co-op is available too, and playing with a friend changes everything. Suddenly you're planning synchronized entry points, distracting guards, stacking utilities. It feels like a budget-ready but extremely clever tactical shooter that rewards strategy over chaos. The visuals are clean, the UI is intuitive, and the overall aesthetic leans into that industrial sci-fi vibe that feels believable. MIMESIS is one of those horror experiences that creeps up on you slowly, and then refuses to leave your head. It's a psychological horror game that bends the concept of identity, perception, and fear. The environment shifts subtly as you walk. Objects aren't where you left them, and the game constantly makes you question whether you're progressing or trapped in a loop. What I love is that it doesn't rely on jump scares. Instead, it uses tension, quiet moments, whispers, long corridors, and those "did something just move?" frames that trigger the fear center in your brain. The visuals are unsettling in a very deliberate way, almost uncanny. Lighting is amazing. Every shadow feels like it hides something. The pacing is slow, but that slowness is exactly what makes it powerful. This is a game for people who enjoy psychological, atmospheric horror. It's the type of game you finish and then think about hours afterward. Escape the Backrooms. Now this one is interesting because it's already huge, but in 2025 it keeps growing and evolving. It's a co-op horror exploration game set in those endless yellow rooms and bizarre liminal spaces everyone knows from internet lore. What makes this game stand out is how unpredictable each level feels. One moment you're quietly walking through an abandoned office-like maze, and the next second you're sprinting because you hear something crawling behind you. With friends, it becomes a chaotic, hilarious, terrifying adventure. Alone, it becomes a slow psychological descent. The movement is simple, the mechanics aren't complicated, but the atmosphere? That's where the game shines. It's oppressive, lonely, and the sound design is uncomfortable in the best possible way. The developers keep adding new levels, new entities, new environments, making the experience feel endless. Let's shift to something far more wholesome, Dinkum. If you've ever wanted Stardew Valley mixed with Australia and a bit of survival flavor, this is your game. It's adorable, charming, and incredibly addictive. You build your town, farm, hunt, explore, catch wildlife, develop relationships, upgrade gear, all at your own pace. The progression feels natural, and the world gives you plenty to do without overwhelming you. Co-op is where the game shines even more. Building a settlement with friends, planning out your base, sharing resources, it creates a warm community experience. And visually, the game is bright, colorful, and stylized in a way that instantly lifts your mood. R.V. There Yet is one of the most unexpected gems this year. It's a road trip management and exploration game where you drive your RV across a stylized world, meet strangers, encounter events, and keep your clunky vehicle running. What makes it special is the charm, the humor, the characters, the absurd little events that happen along the way. You're constantly balancing fuel, repairs, food, and morale, but it never feels stressful, more like a quirky adventure where the road itself is the main character. The visuals lean into simplicity, but that simplicity gives it personality. It's relaxing, funny, and unique. Supermarket Simulator. Who would have thought running a grocery store could feel this addictive? This game exploded for a reason. You're stocking shelves, managing prices, organizing inventory, dealing with customers, expanding the store, scanning items at the register, and somehow it's incredibly satisfying. It blends simulation, management, and a bit of chaos in a way that's endlessly replayable. You can customize your store layout, optimize workflows, and even design your perfect supermarket. The graphics are surprisingly clean and modern. It feels like one of those indie hits that people play for just 10 minutes, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. Peak is one of the most atmospheric and unique indie games of the year. It's a survival exploration game set in harsh mountain environments where nature is both beautiful and deadly. Every climb feels dangerous, every step on ice feels fragile, every gust of wind could be a problem. The audio and visuals make you feel genuinely cold. The solitude hits differently in this game. It's quiet, contemplative, and somehow peaceful even when you're barely surviving. What I love is that it challenges you without punishing you unnecessarily. It respects your time and your effort. And as you ascend to new areas, the views are breathtaking. This game knows how to reward patience. R.E.P.O is a brutal, stylish extraction shooter with a dark sci-fi twist. You play as an agent retrieving dangerous alien artifacts in procedurally generated facilities. Every run matters. Every bullet matters. It's almost roguelike in how it treats failure. If you mess up, you lose everything. The gunplay is tight, enemies are aggressive, and the atmosphere is thick with tension. The visuals feel gritty and industrial, with neon lights and metallic corridors that create a perfect mood. This is one of those games where every decision feels important. And finally, Schedule 1. A trippy, surreal horror experience inspired by psychoactive visuals and dreamlike environments. The game blends psychological horror with abstract storytelling. You're navigating distorted rooms, glitchy hallways, melting shapes, strange creatures. It's one of the most visually experimental indie games in a long time. The music is hypnotic, the colors shift constantly, and every area feels intentionally disorienting. It's less about traditional gameplay and more about the emotional, sensory experience. It's like walking through someone else's subconscious. Indie games in 2025 aren't just good, they're bold, creative, surprising, and in many cases, more innovative than most AAA releases. Whether you like horror, cozy adventures, tactical shooters, surreal experiences, or management sims, this year has something unforgettable for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.